This is Charles Alderton. He is the inventor of Dr. Pepper. He first served it in Waco, Texas, all the way back in 1885. Charles worked at the Morrison Corner Drugstore there in Waco, and he invented this drink there. Now, he gave the recipe to his boss, Wade Morrison, and Wade renamed it Dr. Pepper. After serving Dr. Pepper at the corner drugstore, they unveiled it to the entire world at the Louisiana Purchase Exposition in 1904. This was also called the St. Louis World's Fair. Like a lot of sodas of its time, it boasted having medical properties. Early ads said that it would restore your vim and vigor and help aid your digestion. There is a rumor that Wade Morrison named Dr. Pepper after this man, Dr. Charles Pepper, who was a Confederate war doctor, and he was out in Virginia, and some rumors claim that he gave Morrison his first job, but all kinds of research into this proves that they really probably never even met. They didn't live in the same area, so it's unlikely he was the namesake of the Dr. Pepper. The pepper part probably was just referring to that this soda had kind of a spicy taste to it.
Drink it and tell me that isn't Dr. Pepper.
The Dr. Pepper bottle cap in the 1920s featured the numbers 10, 2, and 4. And the reason for this was they had a slogan, drink a bite to eat at 10, 2, and 4. And they did this because they had done consumer research and found that people felt they had a sugar low at those 3 hours of the day. Although Dr. Pepper is similar to cola, the American Food and Drug Administration does not consider it a cola nor a root beer. It is in its own class, which is called a pepper soda.
They're saluting peppers, tooting peppers. I'm a pepper man.
I like this. This is a chart where you can find out what your knockoff Dr. Pepper name would be. So you pick your month there. So my month would make me Senator, which I like. It's a title I deserve. And then if I take the first letter of my last name, which is H, I get Senator Peeper. There are so many knockoffs of Dr. Pepper out there, and they all have ridiculous names. Here's 3 of them. You've got Dr. Choice, which sounds like it might be a bill pushed through to the Senate by Senator Peeper. He's in favor of Dr. Choice. You also have Dr. Bold, which sounds like it could be a barbecue flavor. And then Dr. Perfect. I mean, I just want to see Dr. Perfect get out there in the ring and do a perfect plex on Hulk Hogan. We got a motley crew here. We got Dr. Bob. And then Food Club brings us Dr. Wow. And then I like the one on the end, Real Doctor, because they're like, look, these other 2 did not go to medical school. Dr. Bob did not pass his exam. Dr. Wow has never taken the Hippocratic Oath seriously. All right, here we've got Dr. Thunder. I believe that's the Walmart brand, and next to it is Dr. Right. At the bottom, we've got the Doctor, which, by the way, if you're putting DR in the front, we all know it's Doctor, but after, it could be the Drive. At the end, we've got Dr. Tremor, who's got like the classiest can of them all. Dr. Tremor. Doesn't sound like a doctor you want to go to. Sounds like a doctor who just hasn't had his beer yet today.
I'm Dr. Love. This is Dr. Pepper Cherry. It has a kiss of cherry flavor.
Here on the end, the big K is bringing us Dr. K. I don't know if that's Kmart or Kroger. If it's Kmart, then we may be running out of cans of Dr. K. We've got Dr. Shaw's there, which just sounds like, some kind of orthopedic doctor. Dr. A+, which I love because he's letting you know he scored very well on all of his doctor exams, because like these other doctors, they may not have even studied. He's like, look, I got A+. I want you to know this. Because here's the thing. You know what they call the doctor who finishes last in his class? They call him doctor, and he's got a full schedule tomorrow. So you want to know that you're going to Dr. A+. Stars and Stripes brings us Dr. Stripes. And I like the military, almost spray-painted stencil lettering on that. Dr. Stripes.
Scientific tests show that when one drinks Dr. Pepper slowly, one can truly relish the 23 flavors.
365 brand brings us Dr. Snap. In the middle, we got Dr. Perky. I like Dr. Perky. If I'm going to the doctor, I need an appointment. Is Dr. Perky in? I want to go see Dr. Perky. And then we've got Dr. Shasta. Dr. Shasta. Wasn't that a rapper in the 80s? Didn't she date Flavor Flav on Flavor of Love? Didn't he give it like a giant clock to Dr. Shasta? Here we've got Dr. Becker, which is a Ted Danson sitcom.
Dr. Becker, welcome back.
Thank you.
Then the next one says Dr. Spice, which sounds like the worst of the Spice Girls. Stick out your tongue and zigga zigga. And then at the very end there we've got Dr. Fine Soda, which I like because I think of Larry Fine.
Calling Dr. Howard. Dr. Fine. Dr. Howard.
Wacky Packages parodied Dr. Pepper so many times. This is Dr. Popper. Here's Dr. Peeper. It's soda for sneaks. A highball for the eyeball. We've got Dr. Pooper, the party pooper. This was a novelty book that young ruffians could purchase. Little ne'er-do-wells could get if they went to the bookstore and went over into the humor/novelty section. And in this, they had a parody label, Dr. Pooper, once again.
I'm hungry.
Hot Dr. Pepper. Your favorite.
Dr. Pepper has appeared in quite a few movies and TV shows. Probably the one that I remember the best is in Spider-Man. Forrest Gump. He had a bunch of Dr. Peppers.
And since number one, I wasn't hungry but thirsty, and number two, they was free, I must have drank me about 15 Dr. Peppers.
Then he told the president he had to pee.
It's all right to be dynamite, but to be a pepper is out of sight.
Would you like to be a pepper too?
We're a pepper, he's a pepper. Yabba dabba doo, I'm a pepper too. If you drink Dr. Pepper, you're a pepper too. Be a pepper, drink Dr. Pepper.
I was kind of excited when I heard about that Charles T. Pepper. I thought that was cool if it was, named as an honor to a man who had worked as a doctor. But no, I don't think it had anything to do with him. I do like when you have a real life person associated with a drink. Shirley Temple is the one I always think of. When I go to a wedding or anything, it's the first thing that comes to mind was being a kid and going up and, can I get a Shirley Temple? And the bartender would mix that for you and serve it to you. And you felt like you were a grown man. You felt like a doctor. There was a bartender who claimed he first made a Shirley Temple for Shirley Temple, but she disputed it. She even went forward with a lawsuit over the drink. It's a crazy story. I'm going to put that video over here, so if you want to dig deep into it, I already did. I'll give you all the information about the Shirley Temple. Otherwise, YouTube says that this one is best for you. So you could choose either one. You could choose this one, choose that one. Either way, I'll see you back here tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Hope you're having a great day. Get just what the doctor ordered. Sip down some Dr. Pepper. Come back tomorrow.